Tarot is like a set of musical notes. There are 78 cards in a deck, and if you can imagine a music score and you hang the cards on that music score a bit like F sharp or A minor, then you can get all these different permutations that make up a spread or a layout, and it's almost like reading your own symphony. Tarot has long been synonymous with fortune telling. Now, I think fortune telling has its niche. There's some really good ones out there. But the way I work with it is from a psycho-spiritual perspective, where we're much more interested in the journey of the spirit in human form. And we can work with the cards to see what that actually looks like. And we can get some answers about what our path might actually be. This is a 10-week course that looks at each of the 78 cards with a fine-tooth comb. We look at all of the symbols and their meanings, and we also relate our life experience to these symbols to help us understand them in a much more down-to-earth way. It's always advisable then for you to bring a nice pen and a writing book which you can turn into a journal, because you are going to be making your tarot book which you can keep. At the end of that 10 weeks, you will be able to do simple tarot spreads and layouts, and you will be confident because you are familiar with the cards. Let's look at the King of Pentacles. We can see by the imagery on the card that he's really connected to his material life and his physical well-being. And that's what he's very good at. He's a very abundant person. He's good at connecting to money. He's good at drawing money to him. And as a result of that, he makes a very efficient businessman, possibly a CEO or director of his own business. He's the type of person that your mother would definitely approve of you bringing home, and making sure that his nearest and dearest are well fed and have a roof over their head. However, if you're looking for someone who you want to get all snuggled up with on a wet Sunday with a pizza and a weepy black and white movie, he's not the man to do this. It's a really wonderful moment when you see a participant get it, that there's this light bulb that goes on the top of their head because they've had this fantastic realization about a tarot card and its meaning, and possibly what it means to them in a wider context. And as they discover not only the depth of what tarot can offer, but the depth of their own spirituality. Queen of Swords has got to be one of my most favourite queens, even though she's portrayed rather darkly. She tends to have an element of foreboding about her. But I think that that's because, you know, she has this sharp intellect and this sharp wit. We can see an element of the single mum, or the woman who's done very well for herself in her career, that through her wit and her wisdom she's excelled herself, but she has to remember that she has to rely on her own intelligence. Very often people feel that spirituality is outside of themselves. It almost has an ethnicity, a sense of other. And what we can do with tarot is reconnect people to their own spiritual path and what makes them tick. Pages are messengers. And the best way to look at this is to see that your inner life is a bit like a palace. So you've got the pages that are near the drawbridge. And they're messengers not of what is coming from the outside in, but what is coming from the inside out. Pages are sending a message to the world of what they want to see and be in the world. By working with tarot and going deeper into those meanings, we become better acquainted with our own inherent wisdom. Because the cards act like keys to that wisdom. And as a result of that, we begin to have a romance with our own spirituality. We can fall in love with our own sense of wisdom and our own path.